All right, I am back. Sorry about that. I had a double echo on my live stream because I'm using this new mic, so it was pushing out both audio. So so we're back. Let's try this again. Welcome, TGI Friday. So this isn't going to be a long live stream today or tonight because it's already after 10 p.m. where I'm at. So I'm pretty sure most parents aren't awake at this time. They may be asleep, maybe out, long week, what have you. But here I am. So, welcome viewers. It's 99 Cent McFury here. I go by many names, Coach, 99 Cent, McFury for short, depending on who's asking. But welcome to my YouTube channel. So, today's topic is parents, don't get triggered, handling your child's emotional outbursts while gaming. So, first off, I would just like to say, in order to manage this, you first just have to understand your child, okay? So, in this outburst, all kids have it to some degree. You just really didn't pay attention to it until now. So what I mean by that is, I'll use me and my brothers for example. So I'm the oldest of three. My parents used to tell me all the time when I was younger, whenever I had a emotional outburst or I would get angry for whatever reason, I would do the Incredible Hulk, is what they call it. So I would pretty much just, squeeze my fist, clench my teeth, show my teeth, and just they called it the Incredible Hulk, which I don't know why, but one of my younger brothers, I'm not gonna mention, but my parents used to say when he got mad, he used to scratch and bite himself, which is wild. He would inflict pain to himself when he got angry. So he doesn't do that now, not to my knowledge, but I used to remember seeing that. Then my other younger brother, I really don't know what he did, but all kids do something. It just over time it manifests as we get older, because we don't really understand how to deal with that particular emotion at that moment for why we got mad or angry. So, but it starts off when we're young. We all have it. So the first thing I would say is, I know it might be too late now, because by the time they're gaming, they've already most likely be 5, 6, 7, but you can still pay attention to it. I would just say pay attention to what they do when they get angry in general. That's a good way to nip it in the bud early, and just be consistent with it as well, and watch how it manifests or how it not manifests. Me, for example, by the time I got to double digits in age, I really didn't show that Incredible Hulk as far as like emotional outbursts and anger and stuff like that when things happen. And that's a good sign. But not everyone has that. Certain things may trigger, you or your child, and you may get a different emotional response and what have you. So, one thing I would say though is, most of the time when it happens, you're really not around. You just hear it. And reason why I say this is because I have a lot of clients. I do one-on-ones with high schoolers, middle schoolers, and what have you. And I noticed that where they game at, it's in their room when they're alone. And I usually encourage parents who reach out to me about, hey, I got a child that games. Um, you know, where do I start? I usually tell them to start, make sure you have whatever gaming console that you have, or if you get them a gaming PC, is to have it in the living room. Don't put it in their room. Because usually when you leave kids up to their own devices, anybody in general, and it's not supervised or just subconsciously, they know if it's in the living room that at any given moment somebody could be watching or listening. That kind of instinctively dictates how they will behave. Because at any given moment somebody could walk in and you're always around in the facility area compared to if they're in a room playing with the door closed. So I truly believe that in the beginning, if you can, have them game in the living room area. And I would have, to be honest, I would have that be the primary location all the way up until they're about in high school. Just so that boundary is instinctively set without having a conversation. You know, and even if they ask, you say no, it's going to be in the living room. And that's it. You don't really need to give an explanation. If you want a game, it's going to be in the living room. Your bedroom's for homework, studying, sleep, everything else. But entertainment is going to be in the living room. So, and the reason why I say that also is because as a child, they, like I said, they instinctively know that at any given moment, you can be walking by, or you'll be in the living room yourself on the sofa, the couch, and you can watch them play. And I truly believe that they'll be able to control themselves because they want to play. So they may know instinctively that there's consequences, as there should be, if he has an outrage or says something or what have you. So it's kind of like when kids go out on the playground and there's no parents around and they just start dropping F-bombs and swearing like it ain't nobody's business, all out of content. It don't even make sense when they say it because they don't even know how to use it in proper context. But they just say it because, oh, ain't no parents around? Oh, I'm going to get rid of me, start cussing. It's kind of the same thing. You know, when they have these emotional outbursts and what have you. So, just one solution is to keep it in the living room for one. And that's my philosophy on it. Two, if they have an outburst, and it's okay to have an outburst, it's just how frequently they have it and what that outburst is. If they're screaming at the screen, the first time, just take note of it. But if it continues over like a 1 or 2 minute time span, but they're constantly doing it, that's when you need to go in there and just be like, hey, I have a checklist to go through. Just say like, hey, are you hungry? Like you're acting out of character. So we need, what's going on, buddy? Did you eat? You hungry? Want to get some ice cream? That might be a simple solution. Because that does play a factor, honestly, in mood regulation and everything like that. Same thing if they're tired. Did you get enough sleep last night? Why? What's going on? Why are you having this outburst? This is unlike you. Or if they're stressed. I don't know what children will be stressing about, but it's 2025, so I have no clue. But you can't leave that out. It could still be a possibility. So, and then after those, if you go through those checklists and it still happens, then consequences gotta be in place. I truly believe that's the most effective way to handle that. So when it comes to gaming, they're really the why. I mean, you could ask them why. Most likely it's because they're losing, or it could be something that's out of their control for the most part. The game's lagging. They're playing online with their peers, and one of their buddies isn't pushing or pulling their weight like he's supposed to, so it costs them the match. Um, Most of the time, it's something that's out of their own control, and you just need to let them know that. If not, there'll be consequences. That's what I do with my daughters. My oldest, not so much. She doesn't really have. Um, she don't play like that to have those issues. But my youngest, sometimes she plays with her peers. She starts crashing out on them when they're not like supporting or doing what they're supposed to be doing. So, I check her every once in a while. If it's consistent, I'm like, hey, you gotta just tone it down a little bit. If you can't do that, then you just gotta get off the mic. So, just let them know that there's consequences for it. If they don't, if there's verbal consequences is good, but other than that, you just gonna have to start like just taking power cords away and stuff. I know a parent that does that, and she says it's very effective. So, just come in here and be like, hey, listen, this is the second time I can hear you downstairs. I should not be hearing you downstairs. So you got to figure out something. You can't be having this consistently that loud. And most of the time, if you tell them that, to my knowledge, they'll be like, okay, cool. But if they don't listen, you just gonna have to start, like I said, pulling power cords. Somebody said turn off Wi-Fi. Don't do that because then you can't use it at all. But just taking power cords, hiding gaming controllers, that type of stuff. And don't do it while they're there. Just when they're not in their room is the best time to do it. Don't do it right in front of them. That's unnecessary. That might spark another outrage right in front of them, and you don't really want that because you want the opposite effect. So just be like, you know what, finish this last game and then cut it off. Since you can't control this, and most of the time they can't. You just gotta. They're just pushing your buttons for the most part. Um, but yeah, just say, hey, this is the last game. Cut it out. Cut it off afterwards, and then from there, when they go to sleep or when they go to school in the morning or whatever, just get the controller, put it in the glove compartment in the car. Be like, yeah, you didn't control your anger, you didn't listen, so no gaming for you this week or today. And if they use an excuse of, well, that's my only thing that I do, or this, that, and the other, try to have a follow-up for them, a solution for them. Don't just say, we'll find something else to do. You don't want to do that because they might go to something alternative that's like not good for them. So if you decide to go that route, just make sure you have another solution for them. Just the time that they would be spending while gaming, just hang out in the room with them. Play a board game or card game or something. Have a conversation with them. They might not like it, but then they'll be like, well, we'll control your emotions, and I won't be in here talking to you. So unless they like talking to you, then talk to them. But as a parent, you gotta have an alternative if you decide to take their game away or whatnot for that time being. Don't just leave it on them to figure out what to do, because they might get into something that they shouldn't be getting into. So we're gonna have some fun with this too. Let's see what Google says. Right? When in doubt, just Google, because I know I'm not the only one that's been talking about this. So I'm sure there's other YouTube videos on this stuff, but I'm just curious on what Google says. So focus on understanding the root cause, teaching healthy and coping mechanisms, and setting clear boundaries. Okay. Kind of sounds like, all right, that makes sense, but what is it? So let's see. Identifying triggers. Try to pinpoint what specifically leads to the outburst. If it's a losing game, frustration, game mechanics, or something else. So it's like what I said before. You see her having an outrage, just screaming and this, that, the other. Oh, yo, what's going on? Are you losing? And I usually tell you, it might not make sense to you if you don't game, but so it's kind of hard to give them a solution in real time. But if they were losing a game, like, why are you losing? Try to ask some questions, try to calm down, I guess is what that's saying. Consider underlying issues. Outbursts can be a symptom of other challenges such as ADHD, anxiety, or difficulty with emotional regulation. Don't listen to that. That should be like a last resort. Don't ever use gaming as a catalyst for potential ADHD or anxiety. If you see this in other avenues outside of gaming with your child or whatnot, okay, cool. But if this is only happening while they're gaming, I would not recommend any of these routes. It's not enough to have that as a diagnosis, I guess you would say. Teaching healthy coping skills, deep breathing, and mindfulness. Teach your child to take deep breaths and practice mindfulness techniques to calm down during tense moments. Okay, look. I agree with the taking the deep breath stuff. Because that usually kind of calms them down. Positive self-talk, encourage them to use positive phrases like, I can handle this, or it's just a game. Positive self-talk is good. I do that to myself sometimes as an adult. I'm like, yo, let me chill out, man. It's just a game. It's all about how you say it. If you approach it as a negative response, like, hey man, stop it, it's just a game. That's a negative connotation towards that. He's just like, hey man, dude, it's just a game, alright? You'll laugh about it later. So if you go this route, just know that it's the tone matters in this particular scenario. Recognize and label emotions, help your child identify and label their emotions so they can better understand and manage them. I wouldn't do that in game. I would do that after the fact, because they're too busy playing. They're not really going to be focusing on that while they're playing. Like, yo, what do you pause the game? You can't pause it if they're playing a lot. So something to talk about after the fact. A lot of these just comes down to the parent. You have to put in the investment to do so. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of parents really don't, because they just use gaming as a entertainment portion of it. And then you just leave them to their own devices. So it's like he's playing this game. I'm not gonna bother. So just know that you will have to invest in your child in order to overcome and have positive results with this. Distraction techniques encourage them to take a break from the game and encourage and engage in different activities such as reading, listening to music, or spending time outdoors. Okay, so you can tell this thing is outdated because don't nobody's child like reading. Some do, but if they gaming, they're not gonna be like, hey, let's go read a book. They're gonna be like, what? Nah, I'm good. Listening to music, that probably gonna help. Spending time outdoors, that's subjective to where you live and what time of year it is. But you can do that. I do that with my daughters sometimes. When I notice they crashing out and they're not really listening, I'm like, hey, we get ready to go get some ice cream. They cut the game off immediately. Hey, I gotta go, let's get some ice cream. So, priorities, right? Listening to music, depending on your child's age, most of them listen to music while they game anyways, or they just enjoy the in-house music while they're gaming. So I wouldn't use that as a tactic per se. Set boundaries and expectations, limit screen time, establish clear rules about when and how long your child can play video games. That doesn't refute the outburst as far as that. This doesn't play. I don't agree with this. This doesn't have an effect on having an outburst. Limiting screen time. Game selection, that can help. If they're playing games that are constantly getting frustrated, like, why are you playing? Why are you playing this game? Anytime you play this game, you get frustrated. So, game selection is important. You know, what happens is, though, they only play a certain amount of games. They're going to play a handful of games anyways, so if you limit that, you take those away, then they won't be gaming at all. So, family time and alternative activities. Encourage your child to participate in other activities, both individually and as a family, to promote balanced lifestyle and reduce reliance on gaming. I don't agree with that per se, only because they can have an outburst in those other activities as well. So that you might be discouraging your child while doing that. So open communication, talk to your child about their experience with gaming, listen to their concerns, and work together to find a solution. Yeah, that can help. But you gotta actually care. And kids know, you know. So if your child is passionate about Fortnite, he gets angry about and while playing Fortnite, and you come in and you act like you care, but don't care to watch or play with the child, they're gonna know. They're like, man, get out of here. You don't care. So, this is the one time I would say that Google ain't really on point with some of these solutions. The positive self-talk is huge. Deep breathing is good. And identifying triggers is good. Those are probably my top ones on here that I would say, yeah, they got that right. This right here is just a whole nother rabbit hole. Seek professional help. It's never that serious. If it's only if they show those outbursts outside of gaming as well. Like if that's their character in general, is they just have an outburst outside of gaming, okay then, yeah, I would say consult, a therapist or something like that. But if they are doing this while gaming and nowhere else in life during the day, these outbursts are happening, Don't waste your money. Consider gaming addictions. This thing, they be going down the rabbit hole with this one. Like, what is going on? Yeah, that's about how to deal with emotional outbursts while gaming. They say go seek, consult a therapist. Consider gaming addiction. They said, look, don't deal with it. Send them to a therapist. What? Don't do that. Don't ever see me first before you do that. Send your child to me for 90 days. We'll get that. We'll get that straightened out for half the price. Like what? Jesus. Um, I got a video how to manage anger in sports. So I wouldn't really use that in regards to video gaming and esports because a lot of the stuff is usually mental for esports. It's a mental state of why you're getting angry compared to like physical sports when you can physically reach out and touch and grab somebody that got you angry, you know. Um, but I'm sure there's some helpful tidbits on there. And let's see, insist your child or teen turn off the game and use their coping skills. They can't go back to the game until you've seen that they are back in their safety zone. Like, we don't even tell adults this stuff, you know? Why the hell is Google telling me that? That's interesting. That's like me having an anger problem while I'm watching the Chicago Bulls get their butts kicked. Google's telling me to turn the TV off and cope and use my coping skills. What? That's funny. Okay. So, but every child is different. You gotta know your child. As a parent, you should know your child. So there's some generic steps to take, but every child is different. Me personally, if I was assisting, I would have to be physically in there watching them while they crash out. And I've done that before. I do that with some of my college athletes in the past. Like they have anger issues while gaming, and I'm like, hey, what are we doing? Like, go outside and scream outside if you need to, and come back. But you're not having these outbursts in here. It's not what we do. With mine, I make them do push-ups, so and wall sits. Oh, you gonna have these outbursts? Okay, that's gonna cost you 30-second wall sit. Go over there. Yep. Oh, you don't want to do it? Okay, well you won't play next week. End of the season, he good. You know, so it's consequences when it comes down to it for a lot of it. Um, and then once you use those afterwards, you won't have to use them as much. I don't because the child loves the game, so they're not going to do anything to lose that privilege to game. So now there are some extreme cases which I haven't really come across much, to be honest, unless I like YouTube it or something like that. But those are usually one-offs. Like I'm with a lot of students, grades K through 12. Every day, while we're gaming, somebody's having some type of outburst or crashing out, and you just got to check it immediately, and then over and over, and then just say, hey, it's my third time telling you this. After this, you won't be able to come back next week or the rest of the week until you control that and manage that. So the downfall is with that is though, when you do that, you want them to change their outbursts overall as a person. But what I've come to see is they only apply it mostly to the situation that is causing the outburst. So what I mean by that is I'll have my after school program and for example, I'll hear Bobby having emotional outbursts while gaming, and I check Bobby and I'm like, hey man, if you keep doing that, you're not gonna be able to come here, man. You're killing the vibe and the whole atmosphere, and you know, and that's not what this is about. Okay, I got it, coach. Thank you. Won't do it here, never again. But the rest of the day in class, he having emotional outbursts. See, he's only not doing it while gaming because he loves to do it. But everything else, classes, he's having those emotional outbursts. So, you know, as much as we want them to change their character and use that as an individual every day, all day to control it, I don't think most of them do, unless you kind of explain it to them like that and they take that to heart. So, but yeah, that's how to handle it. Also, as a parent, like you can't match aggression with aggression with them. So if they're crashing out, getting upset while gaming and screaming, don't come in there screaming at them. You're kind of instinctively reinforcing that. So you know you can be firm with them without sounding aggressive, but don't match that aggression with them. It's never good. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to handling your child's outburst. So I'll be talking about it a little bit more. Matter of fact, I actually got. Let me see here. Do I have a copy with me? I do. I carry it around. So you want to eliminate this? Another easiest way is just get a copy of my book. Beyond the Screen, it's a parent's guide to supporting your child's gaming journey. This will also help. I break down a lot of stuff, so it's on Amazon. Be sure to get your copy. I think also as a parent, just being involved with them while they game will help with that also. Because instinctively, like you ain't trying to crash out, they ain't trying to crash out in front of you with that outburst. Because they already know there's some repercussion behind it to some degree if you're parenting. So they know that. Because I did. You know, I knew when I was gaming, I'm growing up as a parent, my mom and dad were still together, so like I didn't even get mad while gaming much, but I would get hyped up and I would have like my music up on the gaming and stuff like that. And I had this TV called what is it? GHG. Oh, I can't think of it. It was the first gaming TV that had subwoofers and surround sound in the TV. I know I'm going off topic. I'm sorry, but GHTV gaming TV. Oh, I can't think. There it is. Right? Is it G? Oh man. Gaming TV with surround sound. Back in the 90s. I'm gonna find this. There it is right here. The GX TV. Look at this bad boy. Ooh, this is so clean. This was like the first gaming TV. Look at that, it folded up. Oh man. And then it would open up, and then it would have the surround sound, the subwoofers in the back. On the back of the TV, it had, look at that. Oh, it had the 3 audio, video sound jacks. So you could hook up like your PS1, PS2, Dreamcast, whatever the case may be. This TV got me in trouble with my parents because of the surround sound. And I lived in an apartment that had thin walls. So the volume, the max volume, let's say it was 100, right? Now you put it on 15. And the bass. But imagine playing fighting games or like Gran Turismo, all this with like the soundtrack be bumping. Boom, 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 boom. And then my room was right up against my parents' room. My dad would be knocking on the door, hey, turn that shit down. I'm like, what? But yeah. I had this TV for a while, I'm not gonna lie. And then my ex broke it on accident. Oh. I'm just gonna leave it at that. For reasons unknown. Well, not just like unknown, but yeah. I miss that TV. I would still have it now if the speaker wasn't like broke. But yeah. Anywho, sorry about that. Got off track. Memory lane. But yeah. And here's the thing about this topic. I'm probably gonna be talking about this topic again down the road a year or two from now. Because emotions aren't going anywhere, gaming isn't going anywhere. So, but how to deal with it and manage it. We deal with it in different ways as your child grows up. So, what I mean by that is how you deal with it when your child is 10 is not going to be the same when they're a teenager. It's not going to be the same when they're an adult, if they're still living with you. So it comes in stages. So because they're influenced by different things, they've been exposed to different things. So what got them mad at 10, at 13, they're like, what? Nah, that don't bother me as much. Then as an adult, what? That used to bother me? I used to get mad over that? So just understand that it comes in different phases of your child's life. But the sooner you identify it, the sooner you check it healthy, in a healthy way, the better. So, with that being said, it is, what time is it? Oh, it's 11:21. So, with that being said, enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay tuned for my next stream. So, I got a couple good ones coming up. Some stuff that, some topics that are very, that doesn't get talked about and gets overlooked and should be talked about in the gaming world. And what I mean by that is, it's gaming, but it's stuff that's needs to be talked about, that doesn't get talked about. Everybody's talking about the same issues in gaming, the same stuff in gaming, good, bad, or what have you. But nobody's talking about real life for gamers and what they go through and everything like that. So, stay tuned for that. Other than that, this is 99 Cent and Fury. And I'm out.